wanna sing my song. I just wanna run and not be gone too long, 'cause this time is precious still. I wanna keep it close to me. I'm wishing on a star to make more time to see. I just wanna play, I wanna sing my song. I just wanna run and not be gone too long, 'cause this time is precious still. I wanna keep it close to me. I'm wishing on a star to make more time to see. You can always dream, you can put your life on hold, 'cause time won't wait for you. You can always see what is here in the now, and then you'll find out how to keep dreaming. You can always dream, no one's taken that from you. Only you can see it through, just like the way you do. So feed it from your soul and weigh it from both sides. The fulcrum and the tides will give direction that you'll know. You can always dream, you can put your life on hold, 'cause time won't wait for you. You can always see what is here in the now, and then you'll find out how to keep dreaming. When you make the time, it's a game of give and take. When the balance is at stake, you need to take a look inside. Look deep into your heart and remember how it feels. It's where the answer lies and tells you what is real. You can always dream, you can put your life on hold, 'cause time won't wait for you. You can always see what is here in the now, and then you'll find out how to keep dreaming.
Good morning. Welcome to the Celebration Center. My name is Irina Kurashevich, and I'm going to be a platform practitioner and a host today. And we're so happy to have you here in the room and online. So please, if you're here in the room, silence your phones. And if you are at home, please do not silence anything. We cannot see you. So enjoy this time together with us. So if you're joining for the first time and if you're online, please scan the QR code that you see on the screen right here. And if you're here for the first time in the room, we have cream-colored cards up on the table. So please fill in, and we would love to stay together. Well, we have a wonderful service planned for you right now, and I know that we are saying this every single time because we every single time put our heart and soul into it. And today, well, you can hear and see me because there is Ivor and TJ right in the sound booth. So give them a round of applause. We have like a friend reunion today because we have our friend guest speaker, Reverend Sherrie Quander, with us. And we have a friend guest musician, Eli Lev, with us today. This is so wonderful to have. And then give a round of applause to yourself, because without you, that would be impossible too. Oh, we have announcements. And if you want to know what's going on, I highly recommend you to subscribe to our newsletter. Stephanie is amazing. She is keeping you informed in a light, very informative, very fun way. You know, she mixes graphics with text that is good. Okay, okay, but I receive it from her, so I am praising Stephanie. She says she's not doing that. Yes, and we have Charlene that I've never met, but she's amazing. Okay, so what are we having? Right today, after the service, we have an hour break after the service, and then you're all invited for the 9-dimensional sound breath work journey. I have no idea how it can be 9-dimensional, but this is how it looks like, and there are special equipment needed. So please, I hope we will have the lady who is running it, who is facilitating, here in the room, and she maybe will tell us more about it. So it will be happening here. It's $35 per session, and I highly recommend it. I think it's very interesting. So this is about today. Let's talk about the next week. On Tuesday, you're all invited for the workshop about labyrinth. Labyrinth is a sacred spiritual practice. And as you know, I am a member of Spiritual Chain Reaction for Peace in Ukraine and all over the world. And one of our Ukrainian practitioners, the leader of one of the centers in Ukraine, she wrote a class. She wrote a workshop about labyrinth. And she's presenting it on Tuesday. It will start at 12:30 p.m. our time, and it will be done at 3 p.m. So the price is $25, and there is an information how to send it. The payment, because we're kind of doing it through Europe. But if you have any questions, if you don't want to deal with that, just talk to me. You know, there are always ways. But she's amazing, and I will be translating, so it will be bilingual, as all the programs that we do within the Spiritual Chain Reaction. So this is about this coming week, and the next week, come back after the service. We'll have a community sing-along, and the next week guest speaker will be a friend of mine. Her name is Linda Orr Izzo. She's a practitioner, and she's one of the leaders also of Spiritual Chain Reaction, and she is global because she's Scottish, who lives in France and works in Switzerland and meditates with Ukrainians. So, yes, she's a representation of this global community that we all are, because, you know, with Zoom, we can do everything, right now. And, of course, the art night is the third night of the month. It's coming. Thank you. The third Thursday of the night. It's not a hybrid event. It's here, happens here. So please come. And again, as I say, please follow the newsletter because we keep you informed, right? And now I would like to introduce you our guest musician, who is not a stranger, as I said. We know Eli Lev. I think that the first time I met him during the pandemic. He was traveling, and that opened us the possibility to listen to his wonderful voice and his music that always fills my heart. And he has a wonderful website that I invite you all to visit. It's eli-lev.com. And I asked Eli what's going on in his life right now, and he just had a new album that's called Present Johnny. Isn't that what we all should do? Celebrate our present Johnny. So please welcome our dear friend, Eli Lev.
So good to be back. Good to see y'all. There's a song called Water. It's about gratitude and enjoying the small things in life. Well, tell me I got water. Tell me I got bread. And tell me I got shelter, a place to lay my head. Never been so far out on my own. Never been so high, never felt so alone. Well, tell me I got water, tell me I got bread, and tell me I got shelter, a place to lay my head. Never been so far out on my own. Never been so high, never felt so alone. Well, some days I feel like a motherless child. And some days I feel so much joy I could cry. And tell me all my family are safe and sound. I can feel their love the whole world round. And all my friends that I hold dear shine on like diamonds, oh so clear. Yes, some days I feel like a motherless child. Some days I feel so much joy I could cry. Some days I feel like a motherless child. Some days I feel so much joy I could cry.
What a beautiful song. Let's start with the affirmation that we have, with our vision that was written by the people of the Celebration Center. So take a deep breath and let's read together. We are celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. So our belief system is based on the conviction that prayer works, and we encourage everyone to pray with us. We have a core of practitioners, and please give us that opportunity to pray with you. How can you do that? You can go to our website, and there is a button that you can request a prayer. It's confidential. It only goes to the practitioners of the center and the minister. And we also have the green colored card right on the table. So please take 1, 2, how many you want, and just write them down and put something that you want to experience your life, something you want to change, or something you're grateful for, that it will expand in your life with the prayers. And practitioners and the ministry of prayer will be praying for the whole week with you, knowing the higher truth. And let's start our sacred time together and relax in the chairs we're sitting on. And take a deep breath and let it go. And let's do 3 rounds of breaths together, celebrating the oneness in spirit. Take a deep breath. Hold. And release. Another inhale. Hold. And release. And one more. Inhale. Hold. And release. And feel how your heart space expanded. Maybe a lot, maybe a little. And we're here to celebrate oneness of spirit, knowing that divine is here where everyone is. And today's reading is from How to Use Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, the founder of our philosophy. He wrote this in 1948. Behold, I make all things new. There is nothing permanent but change, and the infinite intelligence can never be caught in anything it does. What it does expresses its being at the particular time. Tomorrow, it may do it in an entirely different way, but always in accord with its fundamental harmony. And I know that there is harmony, as spirit is harmony. Spirit is all there is. It is the life itself. And there is harmony within any chaos, as God is present within everything. And I know love. I know peace. I recognize truth, the spiritual, the higher truth of the divine as God, the divine creativity, divine guidance. I know that it is in them life, and it is life itself. And I know that if God is all there is, it means that I am, and I am one and inseparable from spirit. It is within me, it is around me. It is all that I am. And from this power of knowing my oneness with spirit, I speak the word of truth for everyone who can hear my voice right now, that there is harmony, there is peace, there is joy, there is abundance and prosperity. And I know that it is a world of constant evolution, the change. And everyone here and beyond has a choice. The choice for themselves. What quality of God do I express today as my words, as my actions, as my thoughts? And from that, I put the prayer request. And I know that all the prayer requests are answered in the perfect mind of God the moment they were thought of. And there is no separation between everyone's thought and one mind of God. And I know pure and radiant health. I know successful employment where everyone can express themselves and be appreciated in so many possible ways. And I know love, And I know abundance. And I know peace. I know peace in this country. I know peace on this planet. I know peace between Russia and Ukraine. I know peace between Israel and Palestine. I know peace in Ethiopia. And I know peace for everyone who is experiencing that motherless moment that Eli was singing about. And I know joy. I know those tears of joy for children, for older people, for the adults. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to speak the word of truth, the truth of spirit, knowing that my words are heard by one mind, one life. And I know that they're already done in the perfect mind of God. And mine is just to be grateful and let it be, let God. And I do it in deep gratitude. And so it is. And then now my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, who is Reverend Sherrie Quander. So Reverend Sherrie Quander was ordained as a minister in 2009, and she led so many centers and projects. And she came back to, well, and she was in Hollywood, watch the Oscar night. Maybe she'll be there. Oh yeah, Eli, I missed you. You're singing before I introduce Reverend Sherrie. You know what? I introduce Reverend Sherrie, and then we'll hear Eli, and we will go into the message. Yes. So Reverend Sherrie, she grew up in Alexandria, and she's a member of one of the oldest African American families in this country. She still lives on the land that her great grandparents owned, and she moved. She moved from her native land. She went to Hollywood because she wanted to shine. She was not afraid of change. And then she shined there and went to shine to Alabama and shine there. And then it was time to come back to take care of her mom. And some people may think about that, yeah, she came, took care of her mom, did everything she could, and she retired. Well, that's not about Reverend Sherrie. She was always available. She was not looking, but she was always open for the new project. And now she's the member of, our very friendly organization, the Unity of Fairfax. And she is pretty much an assistant minister for Reverend Russ, because when he's not there, she's there for him. And she sings in a choir, and she leads lots of things. Even, the chili nights, I heard about that too. So Reverend Sherrie is not afraid of those things that she's done the certain way, and then she's not afraid to do them a different way. And she's going to tell us what's her present journey after Eli sings us another wonderful song.
I'm going to play a hype-up flute for Reverend Sherrie, if that's okay for everyone. Is that all right? I'm going to play a hype-up song for you. Here we go.
Thank you so much, Eli. That was wonderful. That just sort of gives me a second here to get myself centered before we inhale and take a ride. All right. Now, I hope you guys don't mind. I have to bring my water and stuff up here. The allergies are happening. And I was driving over here this morning, and I had to fight the trash on the freeway because the wind was just blowing just anything that would not tie down. So the pollen's blowing, the trash is on the freeway. I end up taking antihistamines, and so the antihistamines dry up my nose, but then they dry up my throat. And so, you just kind of have to dance around all the stuff you got to do to show up, So here I am. And I'm really happy to be back here with all of you today. It's been a while. It has been a while. So I'm going to share a little bit this morning. The title of my talk is Up Until Now. In the Science of Mind text, Ernest Holmes wrote, "Memory must be the storehouse of all ideas that have passed through my mind. Memory is active, for my thoughts come back to me. My thought is conscious of my body. My body is operated upon by my thought. And it must be operated upon by my memory, since memory is active. But since memory is the result of consciousness, thought, memory, of itself, is an unconscious operation of what was once conscious thought. This is one of the most important conclusions which the mind of man has ever made. By changing his thought, he could remold his affairs. And by right thinking, he could bring new conditions into his life. That's what I liked about Mr. Ernest Holmes. It's too bad I didn't get to know him personally. But this idea of allowing our thought, trusting our thought, knowing that our thoughts can change our lives. We're blessed with the ability to remember. Now, I'm sure that most animals have an instinct, and most animals can remember things. They can create patterns. My cats can remember when I say, "Come here." They know what that means. And when I say stop, they sometimes know what that means. When I say food, it's like, yeah, where are we? I say food, where? So they kind of get it. But we human beings have this thing called memory, that we can take in all of our life experiences. We human beings are also very habitual. Memory is such a magic tool because it allows us to learn something and store it away in our consciousness to be called upon another day. Doctors, therapists, they all retain different types of healing techniques to help support all of us in our maintaining our bodies and healthy minds. We learn many techniques in school, such as math, to help us calculate the construction of buildings and how to get rockets into space. I have a friend of mine who's just an adorable person, just a fabulous mom, got 3 great kids, just a terrific personality, and to look at her, you would not know she's a rocket scientist. But she's a rocket scientist, and this is what she loves. We retain life techniques and rites of passage. Everything from learning how to tie our shoes to driving our cars. Huh, Ingy? Driving that car. to operating the cell phones and computers, which are now part of our lives on a constant everyday basis, everywhere we go. We retain history, the stories of our past. We retain directions, recipes. We remember our graduation days. And we also remember, some of us also remember the fact that a royal flush beats a straight flush. A straight flush beats four of a kind. Four of a kind beats a full house. A full house beats a flush. A flush beats a straight. A straight beats three of a kind. Three of a kind beats two pair. Two pair beats one pair. And one pair beats a high card. I can remember that. We are able to use our memory to recall any and all of life experiences at any time we want. And as we have discovered in recent years, how valuable memory is. As we age, our bodies sometimes begin to lose this ability to remember as fast as we used to. Some of us begin to lose it in greater quantities. And they're studying what ways and what things we can do now to maintain a sharp memory, to maintain and to regain some memory loss. So this tells us that this is a vital part of our lives. Life experiences are life experiences, whether they're labeled positive or negative. Free will and choice offer us the opportunity to decide what memories we want to keep and by which ones we want to judge ourselves. Being creatures of habit, we get to choose what habits we want to develop and practice. Have we ever heard ourselves saying, well, I've always? Have we heard ourselves starting a sentence when somebody presents a new idea or a new thought, or when you join in a conversation of people that are already talking about something fun? And we find ourselves saying, well, I've always. These words keep us prisoners of the past. So just think about it. When we start a sentence, well, I've always, it lets us know where our boundary, what boundaries we've set for ourselves. Telling old stories focused on the then instead of the now, when we could be investigating a new now. I've always, yada, 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 yada. I've always is an invitation to stay comfortable in our discomfort. I've always is a means to stay stuck in a rut. As the author Ellen Glasgow once said, the only difference between a rut and a grave are the dimensions. It takes courage and a willingness to stay conscious, to dismantle our old patterns and open up to new and larger perspectives. Willingness. I think you guys have heard me talk about this word. Willingness, to me, means saying yes, whether you want to or not. Being willing leaves a little bit of space in your consciousness for spirit to get in there and work. When we sit down and say, well, I've always, not much willingness there. So being willing to stay conscious, to dismantle our old patterns, and open to a new and larger perspective. In the phrase up until now, the facts may not have changed in the situation, but they are not stuck in them. We're not stuck in that situation. This is a new creative moment. When we're in a conversation, talking about whatever, the pollen, the trash on the freeway, up until now, my thought about pollen has been, it makes me miserable. Well, that leaves me the door open in my consciousness to change my mind about pollen. Up until now, I have complained viciously about the springtime because I'm coughing and sneezing and wheezing and whatever. Up until now, I have found means and ways to deal with my allergies. My brother found this thing, you guys I'm sure have heard of it, this Navage thing, which washes out your sinuses. And he comes running, he goes, oh, you got to get one of these things, man. This thing is so cool. I'm breathing for the first time in weeks. And I'm like, okay. He said, no, drop everything. You got to get one. So okay. So I ran out and got it and brought it home and set it down. And that's been about 6 weeks ago. Well, I always deal with my allergies this way. However, up until now, I've never used a Navage before. So it's still sitting at home. It's still in the package. But I have to get up the courage to change how I deal with my allergies. You know, and this whole kind of thought in my mind going, well, how do I get this contraption to work? And it's going to have water all over the bathroom and water all over me. And I'm starting to pass judgment on the thing already. And my brother's running around the house going, yeah, this is really great, man. You got to try this. So this afternoon, I think I'll go home and break it open and see what it'll do for me. Go home and break it open, because up until now, I'm not doing so hot. So we're going to try this. Some psychologists say that it takes 21 days to change a habit. For us to change a thought or a habit, we have to be willing to turn our attention away from the I've always toward that which we wish to experience, using our imagination, thought, and word to claim that higher good. I want my sinuses working. I'm going to go home and claim my good. Because of this thing called memory, we cannot forget our old habits. Once we've created habits, I'll tell you something, some of us have worked real hard to create the habits we got. And that's why we always, because I've worked hard to create these habits. And habits that we work that hard to create, we're not going to forget. Memory will help us remember these habits. However, we can replace a habit. We can replace a habit with a new and more exciting and creative idea, thus creating new habits. So up until now, I had plugged up sinuses. Up until now, I performed this task this way. Up until now, I had this habit. Now, our egos categorize our outer world and our experiences of building habits of thought and reaction. And this process of creating thought and reactions that continue to run subconsciously within us until we choose to investigate them. So basically what I'm saying is that we get habits that are running around in our consciousness that we do, and they're habits that we do in such a means that it's muscle memory. We do these things, we don't even know we do these things until we stop and look at these things. So it's real easy to say, well, I always, until we have an opportunity to stop and look. At best, the habits are contributing to our comfort and survival. At worst, the habit fits us with blinders, limiting our view, creating opportunities for narrow-minded thinking, limiting us to new experiences. Now, I know a lot of us for years played with this old saying, well, you know me, I'm old and I'm set in my ways. Now, I used to hear that a lot when I was a kid. You know, some of the older people in my family. Oh, honey, I'm old and I'm set in my ways. And so what we get to understand is we're only set in our ways as long as we want to be set in those ways up until now. We human beings pick up habits that we witness from other people, from family members, that we're taught as we grow up. I did a whole talk last week on worrying. Worrying is something we pick up from other people. We aren't born to worry. Complaining. Negating ideas before we have a complete investment in them, or completely investigate these ideas. We're turning them down, we're shooting them down. Nah, I've always yada, yada, yada. Attitudes of, oh, woe is me. Conscious thoughts of, I'm not good enough. Some of these ideas we can pick up from other people. Now, I was, as I said, did talk last week on worrying, and I did a lot of looking things up in the dictionary, and when I looked up the word worry, there was my sweet little grandma's face right next to that. Because, boy, she had it down, and she made sure my mother knew how to worry, and she made sure I knew how to worry, until one day I woke up and said, up until now, I was a worrier. Up until now, I'm losing sleep. I'm getting too old to lose sleep, people. Sleep is valuable. Sleep is all it's cracked up to be. And so I can't worry myself at night and not get my sleep. So up until now, I was good at it. Engaging in our habits. They don't always reflect the depth of our magnificence as children of God. Worrying does not reflect me being a child of God, trusting in spirit. We are whole, perfect, and complete in spirit. Each and every one of us. Spirit created each and every one of us to be different. Each and every one of us brings something special to this lifetime, and there is no such thing as anybody being broken. Yeah, we may have some things we want to change in our experience. So we get to figure out what that is. We get to look at our habits and say, what thinking do I need to change? But none of us is broken. We can expand our field of view with new questions. Like, what if? I can imagine. Consider the possibility. And my favorite magic question, and when people come to me for counseling, I usually at some point during our conversation ask them this magic question. If money were no object and success was flat out guaranteed, what would your life look and feel like right now? Now, what I find when I ask that question is there are just too many of us that don't know. Clueless. So we get to begin to ask ourselves some different questions. What if? Can I imagine? Consider the possibility. Can I dream? And I was talking with someone a few weeks ago who was in a basic situation where the person's entire life had shifted. And all of a sudden they find themselves alone. The kid's all grown up and gone, and the 25-year relationship is gone, and the person's standing there looking at themselves in the mirror going, now what? Who am I? And I said, if money were no object and success is flat out guaranteed, what would your life look and feel like right now? The poor person looked at me and said, I have no idea. So then we started to talk about, how do we dream? And every single one of us has the power to dream a new dream. So these questions stimulate our curiosity and our imagination. The most creative and imaginative, individuals in every field have not only been willing to think outside the box, but have celebrated every mistake, every setback, and dead end along their journey. Grateful, mind you, for the gifts of information and insight they received. Most of us as young people work real hard not to make any mistakes. I mean, that's a given. We get out of here and going, I got to do this right the first time. Well, no, you don't. You don't learn as much. We have to be willing to let go and allow Spirit to take us, guide us, just point us, and we've got to be willing to walk and take the experience. Because we never know what we get to learn. When we trust in Spirit and know that we are safe, that we are whole, perfect, and complete, even as we explore new territory, we'll let go of some of our fear of making mistakes. The courage to be curious inspires us to step out of old limitations and into a greater experience of now. Because when all reality, folks, now is all we got. 5 minutes ago is gone, and 5 minutes from now, not here yet. So all we have is now. And we've talked about the negative stuff, which memories need to release. But everything that we discussed can also apply to positive things. Sometimes we find something that's working, and we want to keep holding on to that because it works. However, creation is not static. Energy is constantly flowing. So sometimes we need to remain attached. Sometimes we want to remain attached to things, ideas, processes, and relationships and rules because they were working. Well, all things change. Some things change right out from under us. This person that I was talking to the other week, marriage is gone after 25 years. Kids had the nerve to grow up and leave home. Things change right out from under us. Businesses are sold. Jobs are reconfigured or eliminated. Our favorite food is physically no longer tolerated. Oh man, and I hate that. I hate it when that happens. Of late, in the last year, I've started discovering things that my body's going, You've enjoyed it up to this far, honey, but that's the end of the road. And I'm like, no. And so I have to accept the fact that there's some things I can't eat anymore. Every time we learn something new on a computer or new skill or learn how to do a new app, they make it bigger. They make these things bigger and better, and we have to keep on learning. Because I've had people to say to me, don't ever bring me another computer, no games, no nothing, because that means I got to learn something new, and I'm not doing that. Things like COVID. COVID is COVID, man. I don't think we've had too many of those kind of situations in our existence. But change all our habits. Now, some of the habits we've managed to reclaim in the last couple of years, and some have been completely replaced. And these past few COVID years has given us a chance to really see how attached we've become to our ways. The one thing that Spirit can give us is that all things change. So let's replace our old story of I've always with a new script. Up until now. We're in the midst of the season of Lent. And it's time, and during this time, it's been known for people to give up something that means something to us for the time of Lent. Well, as metaphysicians, we all have the opportunity during this time of Lent to give up some stinking thinking, to give up something that limits our growth, some thought, some habit, some behavior, some ways that we were doing things. So starting right now, we can honor and bless these patterns that we have gently untangled ourselves from, and gently let ourselves go from any attachments and resistance. We can forgive what needs to be forgiven. We can forgive ourselves the quote-unquote bad things that we think we've done. We can forgive ourselves for the pain that we think we've created for ourselves. The good for it, we can thank the good for its impermanence. Thank God for the good things that I've experienced, and I'm willing to move on to some more good things. And we can forgive ourselves for our own judgments of the entire process of growth. So in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, "Do not let your heart be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. Peace I leave you. My peace I give to you." Today, trusting the truth of Spirit within us, trusting the truth of Spirit that's through us, that's as us, we step with courage and with curiosity into a brand new now. Because with God, all things are possible. And so it is. Join me now as we just take a deep breath. Give ourselves a minute to just focus on the now. The right here, the right now. For we know that there is only one life. There is only one power, there is only one presence. And we know that power and that presence to be that of God, the living Spirit of truth. This living Spirit lives within each of us, in and through and out pictures as us, right here and right now. I know in this and in every now that God and I are one. And as I breathe in, I feel that oneness with Spirit as a light within my solar plexus, a warmth. And I recognize this warmth, and I know this warmth, for it is guiding, directing, inspiring, prospering, and blessing me in every single now. I know right here and right now that I am guided to my right and perfect good. I recognize right now that that light of spirit within me is a healing spirit, that it revitalizes each and every cell within my being. I move forward in confidence, knowing that I am protected, knowing that I am safe, knowing that courage and curiosity bring me new ideas, revitalize my mind, fire up my creativity. I know that this divine spirit allows me, wherever I am, to be in harmony with all those around me. For I have love and respect for each and every human life. I choose to be in peace with my family, with my friends. I choose to let go of any anger, frustration, or limitations, so that love may express itself in all that I do, with all those that I meet, and with a greater energy for loving myself. I know that no matter what appears to be going on in this world, any disruption, any war, any chaos, that God is in the middle of it. So I know that I give myself permission to know what is mine to do, and I let go of any worry or concern, for God has got this. No matter the appearance, God has got this. So I go forward in my day, breathing in that life of God, expecting only my highest and best, giving from that gracious, loving heart within, and being in gratitude for all that I am and for all that I have. So I release these words into the divine law, knowing they are already done and complete in that mind of God by means of each one of us here present. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Well, I love, Eli, your present journey. I want to travel with you. So let's give more love to Eli. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And more love for Reverend Sherrie. Wonderful. Well, and this is the time of our service when we come to the spiritual practice of sharing, of giving. So let's start with our affirmation. Take a deep breath and read. Okay, I'm glad you can't wait to read it. So let's read it. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. So yes, and this is important, to share. And I know that the Celebration Center is such a loving community, and it's a tithing community. And if you didn't know, Stephanie put it on our newsletter letter that Celebration Center shares its ties with between the headquarters of the Centers for Spiritual Living and other organizations. And it touches my heart that my beloved practitioners of Ukraine were also chosen to receive the gift from the Celebration Center. So it ties to my online community and offline communities. There are lots of ways to give to the center to keep, these programs going and to have the community going. And you can always give us through the QR code. You can scan it and give through that. You also can go to the website, celebrationcenter.org, and there is a give button. And if you would like to write us a check, there is a basket right there at the table. You can put it there. And if you would like to mail us a check, we also accept it with great gratitude. You can find our physical address at the website as well. And I invite us all to bless all the giving, all the talent, the time, the energy. And I know that generosity is the seed of prosperity. I know that abundance and prosperity live here in the Celebration Center, in all its members, its friends, in the wide community that the celebration is serving right now. And I know that divine prosperity flows and it multiplies all the good in the world when it's given with an open heart and a generous hand. And I know that the blessings come back, multiplied abundantly, in joy, in peace, in music, in word of wisdom, in inspiration. And I simply release my words in gratitude, knowing that it is true, it is God, and so it is. And now we have a closing song.
So I've heard the theme of newness and letting go of old habits and what maybe we have told ourselves and maybe what others have told us as well. So I'm going to share a brand new song, actually, that just came out a few days ago. It's called They Say, interestingly enough. And there's a line in it that says, and that's how it is, and that's how it's always been, but what about how it could be? Interestingly enough. So it's directly tied to Reverend Sherrie's talk. And this song's very new for me to play, so just be kind to my performance, and we'll be all right. This one's called They Say, and it's just out now, and a really special song for me. I'm glad I get to play it for you today. They say get rich so I can buy all that I want, but I got all the smiles that I need. They say get famous so everyone will know me, but that sounds like a movie I don't wanna see. They say get smart so I can solve every problem, as if they'll all go away. They say go hard, but I'm a softie deep inside, and I don't feel like hiding anymore. They say be nice, but I'd rather be kind and be there for those who are in need. They say you gotta think twice. Maybe we should think a little more about how we treat the world that we call home. They say settle down, but I ain't one for settling, so I'll just keep on chasing my dreams. Enough is enough, and there's new voices talking, and those are the ones that I want to hear. Now, got a joy that's overflowing. They say don't give it away, but I'll do it anyway. They say get real, but when the truth isn't valued, no one really knows how to feel. That's how it is, and that's how it's always been. But what about how it could be? Enough is enough, and there's new voices talking, and those are the ones that I want to hear. They say too much, but I know who I am, so I don't listen to them anymore.
Thank you, Eli. And well, that was our closing song, and I invite us all maybe to stand up if you feel like it, and to have our closing affirmation. And let's say together, repeat after me. I choose to see wonderful things in my life. I choose to live in joy. I choose to live in peace. And I choose to experience kindness towards myself and others. And so it is. And thank you all for being here. Please move the chairs and give yourself a big round of applause.